You know, if you rob me in the streets of Nairobi, you're likely to get a few hundreds. But if you pick my brain, you can get what I have. If you pick my cash, a few days, a few weeks later, you'll still be broke. But if you pick my mind, you can have what I have. As a woman, if you decide to become my mistress, you might pick a few thousands. But I want to ask you some tough questions right now. Why would you want to be that other woman? Being someone's mistress is an addictive drug of choice. Uncertainty will hurt you much more than heartbreak. You cannot tell the time he will call you or when he will ever come to your house. You cannot predict his patterns because his loyalty is with someone else. It reduces your human dignity by robbing you your capacity to earn, your personal productivity. It reduces you to a dependent beggar, fed with the leftovers of the family he loves. And you know you're living a lie. You know you're not his primary choice. You know you're not the chosen one. You know you're his second violin, played at his own pleasure and convenience. And I know there's some of you, this exactly describes you. And you have baseless excuses for your dirty lifestyle. Come back to your senses. Why do you have to be a second option for someone? Why do you beg for what you can earn? We live at a time when the chances of success for men and women are fairly equal. Why would you reduce yourself to a dependent beggar? If you didn't know, this is the reason I organized this conference. To set you free. Forget about the pain you're causing the other woman. What about the pain you're causing yourself? Who have you reduced yourself to? He has no more chances than you have. When you stop chasing the wrong things, you begin attracting the right things. You are never designed to chase money. You are designed to chase purpose. There is a girl I'm mentoring. Her name is Janet. Where is Janet? Where is this girl? Run forward. Janet, like some of you, was abused in her marriage. She left. And she decided to start her own career. But unlike many of you today, this elegant girl walking here did not go to high school. She reached class 8. Many of you hearing my voice here have college degrees. This beautiful girl here who looks like a cabinet secretary is a hairdresser. And this lady has 2 children. And both of them are in expensive boarding schools. Now, and this year, after Janet started our mentorship program, she decided to go back to high school. She's actually doing her Form 1. I know Janet. I work with her closely. She's in our mentorship program, season 8. And I can tell you with integrity, there is no money in her life. If Janet can feed her children with no high school education, shame on you for hanging with someone's husband. Now, Janet, you know what? I didn't come here to market anyone, but I'll market you. Can you tell us where your salon is?
It's in Westlands, behind Sarit Center on Karuna Road, Western Heights.
You know what? I want to do something. Last week, when I was developing your brand equity at the Hilton Hotel, and some of you came, I decided to market one guy who is a mechanic. And I feel it's my responsibility to raise up some people in the society. I want to make a request to all the ladies in the hall. I have no single interest in her finances. I want to make a personal request. I'm not collecting your offering. I'm not collecting your tithe. And you're paying nothing for this all. I will make one personal request. I want Janet to give you your phone number, and I want you to be her customers. I want us to shame the devil by supporting people who work with their hands. Is that okay? I want you to write down Janet's phone number, and I want as many of you to promise to be her customers, such that a month after this, she will not be employed. She will open her own salon. Can we commit to raise one Kenyan up? Can we commit? Can we invest in the life of this lady? Give them your phone number and don't do it in a hurry. This is our time with you. Make sure they write that phone number.
Hi. My phone number is 0721 954 129.
The name of the salon?
Drop Hair and Beauty Parlor, Western Heights. It's behind Sarit Center on Karuna Road, or ground floor.
I'll tell you why I want you to support Janet. I want Janet to go through her high school. And I have told Janet, I want to start with her until she does her master's degree. Is that okay? Janet, we love you, we honor you, we salute you. You present many single moms who have decided to work with their hands. You are a symbol of integrity and virtue. The Lord bless you. Now, the subject of money is too wide, and that's exactly the business that is transacted here in our annual conference on 17th of April. So I'll delimit myself to only one principle. I have taught 6 principles on the same, and the principle of purpose, just that one principle. I just want to answer one question. How do we attract the money? Because you attract money through 2 things. You just discover what you're supposed to do, and you solve real human problems. And I'll explain that. If you try to sell to me a product that is not solving my problems, let me give an example. With all due respect to the people in our midst who are selling Bitcoin, I'm only using it as an example. Do not take offense. Is that okay? I just want to use it as an example. Bitcoin may be a very important thing. I may be very ignorant. But no matter how ignorant I am about Bitcoin, I may not agree to buy that cryptocurrency because I am not personally understanding what problem is solving in my life right now. Let me repeat. I may be ignorant. I may be wrong. But right now, I don't understand the problem Bitcoin is solving for me. For example, none of you need to preach to me the need to buy airtime. I don't need any salesman. I need airtime. So I will look for airtime. None of the ladies here, we don't need to preach to you why you need to go to the salon. That's a need. You need beauty. Every time you come up with ideas out of your own personal obsessions, you're wasting time. You have to analyze people's problems and solve them. And the more the problems you solve, the more the money you make. That's a story for another day. But before you can solve these problems, you'll only be able to effectively solve people's problems if you connect with those needs, if you connect with your purpose. Now, you can tell that right now, I'm in my natural element. I'm in my space. If you've been following me since you came here, you can tell the only reason we want to finish by 5 o'clock is your time. Those who come for my teachings, like when I'm teaching purpose, I teach from 7 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. non-stop. Don't panic. We'll finish in half an hour. Why? I'm in my natural space. Here is the deal, young ladies. You were never designed to pursue money. You were designed to pursue purpose. Money was meant to be a byproduct or pursuit of a higher ideal. Outside your purpose is pushing rocks uphill. Outside your purpose is flying against the wind. Outside your purpose is swimming against the current. Outside your purpose is forming self-resistance, is fighting against yourself. Outside your purpose, you trade on qualifications. And no matter how qualified you are, other people will get those qualifications. But in your purpose, you are your own kind. You are your own type. You've got no clone. Others may look like you, they can walk like you, they can talk like you, but they will never become you. In your purpose, you determine the terms of engagement and the rules of trade. People engage you in your own terms. Because a gift cannot be purchased, therefore a gift cannot be lost. You cannot sack a gift because you cannot hire a gift. Your gift reveals your purpose. So the question is, are you trading on commodities or are you trading in your purpose that is revealed by your bread? If you tell me you're going to give me croissants from Java Coffee House, I'll appreciate. But I would rather you give me the name Java to start my business rather than their croissants. I would rather you give me the bread rather than the products. If you give me that bread, I can go anywhere in Kenya with a sizable consumer base and turn it around in 1 month into a profitable restaurant. And the question I'm asking you right now, are you trading on commodities, products, or are you trading on your bread? Your bread reveals your purpose. In your purpose, you enter rest. You don't get confused by man or by an employer. Adam operated in rest, in the garden of rest, the Garden of Eden. According to some religious estimates, this land was as vast as the continent of Africa. How did God expect one man, one single man, to work on such a vast piece of land? The man's speed was the speed of thought. The man was limitless. He could name the birds in the air, the animals in the thick forests, the worms underground. He was limitless. He could get right there. The sea urchins in the seabed. He could go anywhere. The man knew no limits. You were created knowing no limits. All limits are self-imposed. And the reason we have these limits is because all of us, 100% of us here were born original, but 99% will die copies. We envy what we see in other people. We admire the fruits without studying the roots. We never try to find out what we were meant to be. So we are struggling to be the second person because the very original exists. Connect with your God-given purpose and then brand yourself and money will come. If this does not offend you, let me give you a very practical example based on what has happened this afternoon. Just this afternoon. Personally, because I think I need to be credible when I speak to you. Personally, I focused on building my brand. It doesn't matter what product I throw to the market responds. We were here, 17th of April, with a different subject. When you brand yourself, it doesn't matter the product you throw in the market. Are you with me? Work on your brand. This can only happen if you connect with your God-given purpose. I would have preferred to continue with that train of thoughts. Time might limit me. There is a book I wrote called You Don't Need a Job. If you're employed, do not touch this book. I'm a writer. Every chapter here might make you resign. If you're in business or you intend to go to business, this is the book you need. It has 8 stories. In fact, 4 women, 4 men. And one of the ladies in our midst, Terry Mugai, has stories in this book. A dear friend of mine, and the one who started Ashley's. And I've given her story from scratch, among other ladies. You can read how these people reached where they have reached in this little book. For those of you in your career world, we have a book called Reposition Yourself. It's about the art of personal branding. And I have a book here called Blue Sky Strategy. How you can use your God-given gifts to move to the level 5. I've given 5 levels. I have a book on parenting. I have a couple of books. I'll not mention the details. But I'm interested in mentioning one. There's a program I'm doing these days called Parenting Today. And the reason I'm interested is because I would want you to help me come to your church, come to your community, and implement this program to rescue a generation. There's 10 chapters. Chapter 1 is how to mentor your child. And we specifically chose an elephant on the cover of the book and a calf. The argument behind it, the calf does not choose the path or the direction. Now, according to the person who wrote these books forward, Erastus, this is his argument. The calf believes the mother has done the homework. The calf believes the mother has done the research. The calf believes the mother knows the water spots and the grazing field. The calf just follows, so the direction the mother follows. Moms, listening to me, whether married or single moms, the question we're asking in this book If there is anything you're doing that you don't want your child to do it, stop doing it. You can only effectively teach what you consistently model. The most effective way of inspiring others is bringing out the best out of your own life. If you don't want your daughters to commit adultery, stop committing adultery. After this conference, don't tell them what I told you. Show them what I told you. In the words of General Douglas MacArthur, a good general does not push his soldiers from behind. He leads them from in front. Some parishioners met St. Francis of Assisi and asked him, "Preacher, how and when should we preach?" He replied, "Preach all the time. If necessary, use words." In that great city of Antioch, they never called themselves Christians. The city dwellers observed their mannerisms and said, "These guys look like Christ. They talk like Christ. They love each other like Christ. They are Christ-like. They are Christians." Originally, that term was a mockery. It was an insult. They look like the one who was crucified. Every parent would want to produce good children, great CEOs, great entrepreneurs, cabinet secretaries, governors and secretaries, and senators. In reality, however, you don't produce who you want. You produce who you are. You produce your type. If you have a ruthless teenager, that's a mirror of who you are and the society in which they were raised. Parents are the direct mirror of their children. When you look at the behavior of your kids, they should be putting you on check and balances. Lesson number 2, talents. How do we link children's talents with their careers? Lesson number 3, sexuality. On a day-to-day basis, can I ask you a question? How many times in a year does the average parent talk to their girls or boys about sex? Give me a number. Some of you are saying 0. If you speak even 2-3 times a year, every single day, can I ask you, is it true that today only, especially those of you who are parents of teenagers or preteens or young adults, is it possible today alone they'll be exposed to sexually explicit materials? If the media is doing it on a day-to-day basis and you are speaking to them once a year, by law of averages, who is going to win? Lesson number 4, gadgets. And I know there are many parents here listening to me who are struggling with internet because their kids can't keep the phone down. There's a program that may rescue a generation. We have another program, and many of you have enrolled, that we train people on mentorship. We call it My Life Journey. Today, I have a surprise for you. The message I've given you today is in a book called Me, Men, and Money. The message I've given you right now is in this little book, Me, Men, and Money. Let me just tell you what is in this book. Just a little bit. Of course, there are things I didn't talk that are in the book. For example, I didn't talk details about your face and your height and your nails. The subject of part 2, which is man, you'll find a couple of S words. Then the seagull and her man. Is marriage a covenant or a contract? Then I came up with a curve called the marriage curve. Left side marriages, right side marriages. Then in this book you're going to find a man and his mother. What he says, what she hears. Men and affairs. Why married women cheat? Why single women cheat? Why men cheat? What leads to affairs? How to get out of affairs? And finally, about money, I've given you some 6 laws about making money. Some 6 laws, all of them starting with letter T.